Hello math students. Hope by the end of this video you can say I can rewrite subtraction of integers as adding the opposite. So by now you might have noticed this little tombstone that says RIP subtraction, rest in peace subtraction. Okay, so if you're wondering what that means, it means that we are not going to be using subtraction anymore when it comes to adding and subtracting integers. We're going to use our rules that we have learned for adding integers and use them from here on out. And instead of using subtraction, we're going to rewrite these expressions using adding the opposites. We'll learn some about that right now. Okay, so let's say we have 3 minus negative 7. Let's look at this on the number line. Okay, so we've got 3 minus negative 7. So right away we're starting with 3, so it means we're moving 3 to the right of 0, 3 in the positive direction. So 1, 2, 3. And now we've got minus negative 7. So now we see 3 minus negative 7, so we think subtraction, so we're moving to the left. However, we're moving to the left negative 7. So if we're moving to the left negative 7, we're actually moving to the right 7. So we're going to move 3 or 7 more to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We end up right there. So this arrow is 3 long. This arrow over here is 7 long. So where do we end up at? We end up at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Or you could just take 3 plus 7, and that is it. Oh, 3 plus 7, the length of this one plus the length of this one, moving in a positive direction. So are you telling me that we could rewrite this as 3 plus 7? Well, that looks a lot easier. We know that's 10. That's easy peasy lemon squeezy. We don't need minus a negative. That looks disgusting. So we're going to do 3 plus 7 instead. So now let's look at another problem here. So now let's look at negative 3 minus 7. And let's look at this on the number line. So we start with negative 3. So we're moving negative. So we're moving to the left. 1, 2, 3. So this arrow is 3 long. We're subtracting a positive 7. So we're still moving to the left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So this arrow here is 7 long. And we end up at negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So we know that this one is 3 long and this one is 7 long. Okay, but they're both moving in the negative direction. So I could rewrite this as negative 3 plus negative 7. And using our rules, we know that negative 3 plus a negative 7, we're going to get a negative answer. And 3 plus 7, just add their absolute values, we get an answer of negative 10. So instead of subtracting from here on out, we're going to rewrite these expressions as adding the opposite. And so instead of 3 minus negative 7, it is 3 plus 7. And instead of negative 3 minus 7, it is negative 3 plus a negative 7. So we add the opposite. Okay, so long story short, all that we need to do when we are rewriting subtraction of integers as adding the opposite, you just take this sign. So instead of saying subtracting, you change it to a positive, so you add, and instead of being negative, you change it to a positive. And instead of having subtraction, we change it to a addition. And instead of 7, we change it to a negative 7. So I hope by now you can say I can rewrite subtraction of integers as adding the opposite. Rip in peace subtraction.